Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new malicious compliance stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
First one is titled, Lady demands that I stop what I'm doing and open my register. Okay, no problem. I, male 19, work as a cashier in a gas station in Miami Gardens, Florida. Naturally, the people that come into the store tend to be on the crazier side. The store had a line of maybe 7 people. Now, at this point, I had the register closed sign up and I was stocking the vaporizers and accessories on the shelves behind the counter. My co-worker was handling the customers in line. I turn when I hear the door opening. Another lady walks in without a mask on. I politely ask, "Excuse me, miss, do you have a mask that you could put on?" She scoffed at me and rolled her eyes as she dug in her purse for a minute or two. Finally she pulls out a ratty little mask with only one functional strap and holds it to her face while she's waiting in the line. Well, apparently she couldn't do that for very long. She comes to the front of the line ranting and raving about how the line is too long and that we shouldn't be keeping a valued regular customer waiting. I've been working here for 4 months and I've never seen her. I'm fairly confident I know all the regulars. I tell her that there are other things that my manager left for me to do before the end of closing and that I have to get them done. She didn't seem to like that all. I demand that you open your register right now. Okay, you got it, lady. I moved the sign and then I turned back to her. Do me a favor and stand a little bit to your right. Surprisingly, she complied, albeit with her arms crossed and what I can only assume was an angry gaze firing through her mask. Cue the malicious compliance. Next customer, I yell out into the store. It dawns on her what I'm doing, but the next customer shoots up in front of the counter before she can even fully process it. I go about this transaction as normal, despite the fact that this lady is yelling at me at the top of her lungs, no longer holding the mask to her face, mind you. I finish up with the other customer and I turn to her. She tries to yell over me, so I raise my voice a bit and try to be as stern as possible. I tell her, just because my register is open now, doesn't entitle you to skip all the other people in this line who also have lives, and jobs and other responsibilities. Get to the back of the line, and be respectful or I have no choice but to have you removed from the store. We don't have security but we're 2 blocks away from a police station and one of the cool officers who comes into the store gave me their personal number to use just in case we have any issues. The lady harumphs loudly and walks dejectedly to the spot in the line she had before she left. In the amount of time it took for the rest of the story to occur, more people had gotten in the line. I said the back of the line, I told her pointedly. She dropped her shoulders and walked to the back like a toddler. People, man. Next one is titled, You Really Don't Want Me to Open This Bag. Not entirely sure if this story fits here, but I wanted to share it and this is where I think it fits best. I am a broke college student. Not like the, I spend all of my money on DoorDash and weed so I don't have enough money to go out with friends, kind of broke, but rather the, I once ate a piece of cheesecake that I found on the side of the road because I was hungry, kind of broke. Anyhow, I have managed to find a way to swindle a certain convenience store to unwittingly give me coupons that I could use to get free food every now and then. I had worked there before, so I knew how to take advantage of their coupon system as much as they had taken advantage of me while I worked there. Well, one day I had gotten $11 in coupons which I was very excited to use to buy myself some groceries. Now, convenience stores are great, but when it comes to groceries, well, they aren't grocery stores, so options are a bit limited. Of course, for me it's free, so I'm not complaining. So I'm walking up and down the aisles, looking for something slightly nutritious so that I can eat real food and not get that groggy, I've been eating nothing but peanut butter and bread for the last week type of feeling. You know the one. After grabbing some peanut butter and bread, a stack of pink catches my eye. My heart drops. Could it be? Do they have meat? My legs pull me over to the meat stack faster than I can process this miracle, and I am suddenly face to face with a giant stack of packaged salami. Finally, some good ducking food. I grab myself a package of salami, and it becomes my new best friend. I imagine our life together. The sandwiches, the snacks, and best of all, the satisfaction of having a real meal. I put the peanut butter back and exchange it for some mayonnaise and mustard. Peanut butter had gotten me through some hard times, but sometimes you just gotta upgrade. I'm sorry, old pal. Papa just needs some meat. I go to the checkout stand with my salami, beaming like a maniac. After getting home, I am ecstatic about this meat, and I immediately unwrap the salami. As soon as I begin peeling it, I realize my mistake. Instantly, the wrath of Genghis Khan charges directly from the meat to my nostrils with a weaponized stench that pulls at my stomach. This is no salami. This is a foul, vile monster. I try to reseal the salami to contain its stench, but it is too powerful. The salami refuses to be contained. Panicked, I scour the house for anything I can find to vanquish this terrible monster that has let loose in my house. I happen across a freezer bag, into which I throw the salami. This displeases the salami. Furious, the salami begins planning its revenge. The freezer bag contains the stench for now, so I place it into the fridge to return to the store the next day. My thinking is that the freezer bag will subdue the salami until the next day. But I am a fool, a jester, and a clown. Overnight, the salami rebuilds its arsenal. The night passes, and I am ready to rid myself of this foul demon. I open the fridge. The most putrid, insulting, horrific smell rips its way out of the fridge, grabbing me by the nose and tearing it clean off. The taste of salt fills my mouth, and I am unsure if it is from the salami or the tears streaming down my face. I rush to grab another few freezer bags and contain the salami as best as I can. The signature stench of the salami has filled the room. It's not going away on its own, so I open a window and head back to the convenience store with salami in one hand and a receipt in the other. I arrive, and make my way to the cashier. As usual, I look malnourished and have baggy clothing, marking me as a suspicious customer. I go to send the salami back from whence it came, but the cashier has suspicions of my return. Of course. So why exactly are you returning this, sir? Please don't make me open the bag. The displeased salami becomes eager. It smells really bad. I would open the bag, but I really don't think that's a good idea. Please don't make me open the bag. The salami knows what is to happen. Sir, I can't do the refund if it's in this bag. You need to take it out to return it. You are making a mistake. The salami is preparing to strike. I put it in a clear bag, so you can scan the barcode through the bag. Trust me, you really don't want me to open this. Please, for the love of all things holy, do not make me release this monster. The salami is foaming at the mouth. Sir, I can't do this return without you opening the bag. Either open the bag or take it home. I can't refund your money if it's in a bag. I worked at this chain for 3 years and that has never been a policy. I don't know why you would make that up other than to somehow catch me in some act, but please, just trust me. The salami suddenly goes silent. It is ready. Are you sure? Yes, it is our policy. No, it isn't, but if you insist, then very well. Don't say I didn't warn you. I barely crack open the freezer bags, and the salami, furious, bursts out with a stench so sour that even the Karen in line behind me pulls her mask over her nose. Actually, the cashier begins coughing as I pull the salami out of the bag. She apologizes profusely about the foul-smelling meat and scans the beast before issuing me $5.99 in store coupons. I take the bag with me, leaving no line of defense between the cashier and the salami. You said you can't accept bags, right? Well, I guess I'll just keep these bags then. She tries using a store bag to contain the salami, but to no avail, as the store bags aren't airtight. You didn't want my bags, so have fun working next to the salami until the line dies down. I grab 2 jars of peanut butter and buy them with the coupon, and head back home to have me some peanut butter and bread. Should have just stuck with old reliable. Next one is titled, Steal My Dog's Favorite Ball. I'll give you hundreds. This happened about 6 years ago, when I was 12, and my brother was 10. We lived next to an older lady, let's call her Jane, who we never really interacted with. We used to play with tennis balls and cricket balls in our backyard, and occasionally, they would go over the fence. When they did, however, Jane would keep the balls and not give them back. She would always say, "Any ball that comes into my yard is mine, and I'm keeping it." One time we were playing with my dog and her favorite ball went over the fence. I sucked it up and went to talk to Meanie Jane, as we called her, only because it was my dog's favorite ball, but obviously she didn't give it back. He was so sad and kept looking for the ball everywhere, and wouldn't play with any other ball. That was the final straw. I found a shop online where you can bulk buy sports equipment, usually for schools, and with my dad's help bought 200 tennis balls. Once they arrived, my plan could begin. Step 1. Ask her for my dog's ball again. No surprise, she was mean and wouldn't give it. "Any ball that comes into my yard is mine and I'm keeping it." Fine then, time for step 2. Step 2. Every day, go into the yard and throw a tennis ball over the fence. Each day, increase the amount. Day 1, 1 ball. Day 2, 2 balls. Day 3, 3, etc. And each day before doing this, ask for my dog's ball back, each day getting a no. By the time we got to day 19, we only had 10 balls left, and that's when step 3 came into play. Step 3. She had an old rubbish bin she kept all our balls in, and at this point it was overflowing. So that week's bin night, we watched her haul out 2 large black bin bags. Once it got dark, me and my dad went put, and lo and behold, it was every single ball of ours that had gone over the fence in the past few years. In total around 300 balls, including the 200 balls. Even my dog's ball was in there. To say my dog was really excited is an understatement. She wouldn't put the thing down and even started sleeping with it. Next one is titled, "Not allowed to work 24 hours or more." We have a rule at work that you're not allowed to work 24 hours straight. A co-worker had a family emergency and begged me to work her shift even though I was working a double. Our lazy co-workers didn't want to pick up any overtime. Because of the rule, I was strictly not allowed to work for her. I asked a co-worker to come in to their shift 10 minutes early, allowing me to leave 10 minutes before the 24 hours. My boss wasn't happy and changed the rules so you could only work 2 shifts and had to have a shift off after 2 shifts. Always remember that family emergencies come before work, and to try and help your co-workers out because you'll never know when you'll need someone to cover your shift in an emergency. Next one is titled, "Be quiet, don't speak, just take a seat and don't say a word." Okay, no problem. A little backstory, this takes place late 2014, pretty fresh out of university, my first real job post-graduation. I landed a junior position for a construction firm putting up the condos around the Greater Toronto area. At the peak of the condo boom, I was lucky enough to be assigned to the lead safety team, and the lead engineer was my direct supervisor. The company I was working for had just scored a huge contract to re-engineer, fix the balcony's glass on several condo buildings in the downtown area, all managed by the same management company. The reason is the glass they used on the balconies had a tendency to randomly shatter, sending thousands of tiny pebble-sized shards of glass raining down 10 to 35 stories. The official reason was a manufacturing defect. The real reason was prioritizing form over function. The company that built the buildings didn't factor in all the vibration from the high winds and heat from the city. And the solution was literally 5 centimeters of rubber, a thicker shatterproof tempered glass, and millions of dollars. But with that out of the way, I was employed in the safety department. We had a difficult time with the design art department. They cared about form over function and safety. We were at the tail end of a project and about to break ground on a condo development, 2 35-story buildings surrounded by townhomes just off the lakeshore. Unfortunately, to the art department's dismay, we had to add in a wind wall. Right where the building was situated, it was a high wind zone because the lake effect wind and the highway. There was this wind tunnel that would pass the back road of the building, and wind at 100 kilometers plus is enough to knock you off your feet. But the design department hated it and thought it was ugly and cost sales. After months of back and forth between the two departments, my boss set up a meeting with the design department and put me in charge of doing the presentation, the new junior engineer, because in all honesty it was just not an important thing, it was just go get 'em off our backs. Well, it comes to the day of the presentation and I show up a little bit early to set up, and I go find the boss of the department. I had never met the man before. Well, I get to his desk and try to introduce myself. I was met with a "be quiet, we're waiting for one of the dummies from upstairs, but just be quiet, don't say a word and take a seat." So that's what I did. I texted my boss and explained what happened, and he said just wait, don't say a word, just wait. So I did. 20 minutes passes and you can see the boss getting visibly agitated. Another 20 minutes passes and the man is seething with rage and makes a call. My boss texts me and he says the guy is going to call you in a few minutes, you have permission to say what you want. Well, I am sitting in the dead silent meeting area, the boss makes a big spectacle of coming out and saying everyone be quiet. I am going to call this dumb a hole and see what's the hold up. Well, my phone starts to ring and I answer. Before the guy says a thing I spoke, "I am sorry, I can't talk right now, I am trying to start a meeting but some dumb a-hole won't let me," and hung up. The man's face went red, he didn't stay around for the meeting. He went to try to chew my boss out, it didn't work, and the meeting went off with no problems, and well, it ended that issue with the design department. I only stayed at that job for about a year until my boss recommended me for a better job, lead safety, at a different company. I stayed with them until last year I decided to do my own thing. Yes, English is my second language and I also have a learning disability. It's not like in the old days where I had someone spell and grammar check everything I sent out. I don't have a secretary anymore. Next one is titled, "Want Your Hand Sanitizer Back?" I hope you like it mixed with ketchup. So, I have this friend, sorta. Let's call her Karen, even though she is the same age as me, a teenager. When we were younger, I caught her a few times having stolen stuff from me and her friends. She was generally a stealing, lying witch. But we sometimes got along, and our relationship is complicated, and she thinks we are fantastic friends, so I don't tell her otherwise. She also set me up with my current girlfriend, but that's a different story. I also have really good peripheral vision, and people often got mad when I could see them do stuff out of the corner of my eye that they thought I couldn't. So, I went shopping with my friends late last year, and my friend, not Karen, drags me into a certain shop for body products. As it was one of the last shops we could go to, and I still had a decent amount of money left, I bought a lip balm and 2 small, scented, expensive as hell bottles of hand sanitizer. I never use them, so the size of them didn't bother me. It was just for random occasions when I needed them or wanted my hands to smell nice. I got home, put them on my desk, and used them about 3 times the rest of the year. Then in about March, Karen came over and asked, "Hey, can I have one of these bottles of hand sanitizer?" And I tell her, "No, I bought them myself, and they are very expensive." She looks at me, fake smiling, and says, "Oh, okay then," and I swear I can see her grab one off of the desk very obviously as soon as I turn back to my computer. Without looking at her, I say, "Put that bottle the duck back." I said no. Karen is surprised and quickly puts it back, looking at me innocently saying, "What do you mean?" At this point, I look up and say, "You know I have good vision. Don't try and take my stuff when I have told you no." I then reached over and put the bottles in my desk drawer and go back to what I was doing. The next day, she comes over again, and her mum is with her. The mother starts getting mad at me, saying Karen told her I stole her hand sanitizer and that I locked it in my desk. I told her I don't have a lock on my desk and that I bought that hand sanitizer last year. She was still mad and shouting at me to give her the hand sanitizer. No one else was home as my family was all shopping or at school. I go to online school, and Karen is homeschooled, so no one could back me up or save me from her. I finally get fed up, go inside, and grab one of the bottles of hand sanitizer and an old lotion tube I never threw away cause I'm messy. I screw off the cap of the lotion lid and squeeze the sanitizer into the bottle, sealing it back up and putting it in my desk. I put the bottle in my pocket and walk back to the door. "This'll just take a moment. I forgot I put it in the kitchen." She nods, still mad, and Karen is smiling in success as I walk off again. I reach the kitchen and grab a bottle of ketchup, mixing it with chunky aloe vera gel and awkwardly shove it into the hand sanitizer bottle. This makes a sorta translucent pink gel that looks like a strawberry hand sanitizer, as that was the scent for this one. The smell of the original hand sanitizer is very strong and it overpowers the ketchup, making it seem convincing. I come back and hand her the tiny bottle of ketchup and aloe vera, looking directly at Karen and saying, "I'm so sorry I stole. I don't know what came over me." They both looked smug and turned to leave, her parents saying, "She won't be returning again. I don't want you stealing more of her stuff, and you're lucky we don't press charges on you because you're a kid." I put on a sad face and say, "That's a shame," before slamming the door in her stuck-up face. I hope she enjoys her hand sanitizer. Next one is titled, Corporate Coffee. In the late 90s I worked for a corporate coffee chain. It was a good job. They had dress code and a policy against unnaturally colored hair and facial piercings. Being a queer little 20-something, those were both high on the list of things I wanted. I asked my manager and he said that so long as I covered my facial piercings with a band-aid, corporate couldn't do anything about it. So I bought some neon-colored band-aids, which I cut into strips, and happily got my eyebrows pierced. When customers asked why I had neon pink band-aids on my eyebrows, I happily told them it was so they wouldn't notice my eyebrow piercings. Last one is titled, Mandated Medieval Day Costume? Sure. When I was a young teenager, maybe 7th grade or so, my middle school thought it would be a wonderful idea to host a medieval day. This was, theoretically, a whole day of activities which were supposed to be fun for the kiddies, but were in reality lame, boring, or both. Here's the kicker, though, the history teachers decided that dressing up was a requirement. As in, it counted as a test grade. Now, this was 7th grade. As long as you passed the year, grades didn't really matter. However, most of us didn't know that, so we were all forced into dressing up. Some even enjoyed it, dressing up as princesses and peasants alike, to each their own. I was not one of those students. I slept through history class daily, and still managed to maintain a good grade, so I decided, screw it, I'll take the L. I showed up to school that day in black pants, black shoes, and, you guessed it, a black shirt labeled the Black Death. The whole day, I went around giving out stickers to 1 in every 3 people. When they fed us based on the social caste of our costume, everyone got the same food eventually. The poor soccer moms had no idea what to give me. Bless their hearts. When the princes and princesses had to dance with each other, and the peasants had to pair off, I was awkwardly shuffled off to the side to half-heartedly dance with a boy in what might have been a Shrek costume from Party City. Most of the students looked at me like I was a lunatic, but it was 100% worth it. Thanks for listening.